Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode, installment, whatever, video from Dream Girl Trucking. Dream Girl Trucking is for anybody who has a dream, who's working on it, or who's just thinking about it. So it's not just for girls, and certainly has nothing to do with my looks. I'm almost 60, as many of you know who've been watching my channel for a while, and I am a happy ager. I like getting older because there's no use looking backwards. And so I might have even said that on a previous video, but it's still true. So today I want to talk to you about insurance. And I'll try not to make it too boring. But I know that when you go get a new job or you have an existing job and your annual enrollment comes up, and I don't know where the camera is. I think it's right over here. Okay. And I'll try to look over there into nothingness. So your insurance, your annual enrollment comes up for your insurance. And there's just all kinds of insurance to choose from. So I just want to make this brief so it doesn't bore you guys to death, but it is important that you know, and you can find some questions to ask as well, because it can be, you know, kind of hard to navigate. And a lot of times the insurance agent, you have usually one insurance agent for your whole company. So, and a lot of times you don't get to talk to that person. Sometimes you do. So anyway, of course there's health insurance, and you know, that's pretty self-explanatory. You really have to look through and see what is right for you as far as it goes for your annual out-of-pocket. That's very important because that's the maximum that you'll spend out-of-pocket every year before everything is free. So the lower that is, the more expensive your premiums are going to be. Your premiums are your monthly payments. So there are not very many ways to get insurance in America. You can get Obamacare if you're not eligible for insurance at your job. There's Christian Co-op, and then there's the health savings account where you get in on that. But those are things you need to Google and look into. And some companies offer a health savings account that they also contribute to. And it's a savings account that when you need to go to the doctor, then you go and you get your little copay and stuff like that too, because you're in a club. So there's that. But one thing that's really important to me is life insurance. I'm not real big on getting life insurance through a job, even though you get that great group discount. But so many of us change jobs so much. So let's say you got a job and it came with a whole life policy. Well, that stuff builds cash. So when you quit that job, you want to go ahead and cash out as soon as possible and send an email in writing. That's the only way to cancel your insurance. Send an email in writing to your agent and your company. Just make sure that they get it, because otherwise, if you leave the money in there, then that money will just get soaked up as insurance payments for you, and you'll keep your insurance. You might not even know it until all that money is gone that you could have cashed out and taken with you. So, you know, it's just kind of, it goes for your agent's commission each month. So your agent's going to get it. If you are a young person and you are having house payment and you got a wife and kids, I strongly recommend you get also a term insurance policy. Term insurance, it's like, you know, term, it's a length. So the bad thing about term insurance is that if you die after it expires, then you've paid all that insurance for nothing. Now you can get a rider sometimes with some policies. They all have all these working parts in them there, so there's no two that are the same. But sometimes you can get one that has your return of premium. So if you are 80 years old and that expires and you haven't died yet, you know, you can get some of your premiums back. Not all, but some. But you're going to pay extra for that every month too. So the reason that I like the term and like the whole life policy if you're young and you have all that stuff is because you're not going to need a big policy for the rest of your life, because at some point the kids are going to leave home, the house is going to be paid for, the car is going to be paid for, you know, your wife's going to be cool with, you know, your regular life insurance, and you just don't need that much insurance. So why get this big policy that you're going to be paying on for your whole life, and you don't need it for that long. So, and on the other hand, you know, you want to be adequately insured because your spouse is likely going to be, you know, very traumatized and not want to work for a couple of, you know, months, maybe 6 months, you know, and then you got babysitters and funeral expenses and gas and maybe the 2 car payments. Are you going to ruin your spouse's credit because now you're deceased and she's got 2 car payments and she can only drive 1 car at a time, so she's got to turn the other one in? You know, all kinds of bad things can come down the pike. So that's why I suggest both of those if you're young and you have that. On to the next thing and the final thing. This is not going to be very long because it's about insurance. Well, I said final thing, but I wasn't thinking about dental insurance. I keep my own dental insurance. You can usually get that for pretty cheap at your job. The way dental insurance often works, and yours may or may not work this way, so this is a part where you would ask questions, is that in the first year it will pay like 30% of this, that, and the other. And the second year, it'll pay like 40% of this, that, and the other, and something else. And then the third year is when it matures, and it pays like, you know, top pay 60 or 70%, whatever. It is like every other insurance. There's working parts to it, and no two are the same. So the longer that you have your private dental insurance, the better off you are. That's why I keep my own dental insurance. And I do wear contacts, but it's just really not worth it for me to have the insurance or use that. A lot of times your dental and your vision are wrapped up together, and the way that dental works is you'll have like a $2,000 a year policy, which means it'll pay $2,000 worth of work to be done on your mouth or your eyes, it's up to you, per year. That's why a lot of people wait. If they have like something really expensive to get done, they'll wait to get it done until the end of December so they can get half on last year, and then they'll get the rest done at the 1st of January so they can get half on next year, and it'll pay for like all $4,000 or $5,000 that they need. So that's a question for you. How much will it pay per year, and does it pay for everything right up front? And sometimes it does, because these group policies tend to be better, but then again, you lose them when you quit your job. So now the final thing I'm going to talk to you about is, and I'm not going to really go over 401ks and all that stuff. You can, I've heard people say, though, I guess I will. I've heard people say, I don't want to quit because my 401k, blah, 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 whatever. That just rolls over. And, or you can roll it over into an IRA. An IRA is for, not the company puts in, and the 401k is for, yes, the company puts in. You know, you can't be self-employed or unemployed and have a 401k. So that's strictly goes through your company. And it moves with you from job to job. So, okay, now I am at my favorite thing, disability, which we all need to think about. I strongly suggest you get disability through your job because it's so cheap there and it's so expensive outside of there. I mean, it's like cost prohibitive expensive. Anyway, so, and the way that it works on the outside world is the you have an elimination period, which that's the part that you're going to go with no income. And you pick that because it's like all other insurance. It's got working parts, and no two plans or company offerings are the same. So the further out you go without getting paid for being disabled, the cheaper it's going to be per month. So basically, you know, unless you got, and you have to keep paying for it while you're disabled so you can keep it. So the thing is that if you want to set it out so that it's like it doesn't pay for like 3 months by the time that your house is fixing to get repossessed and your cars fixing to get repossessed and blah, blah, blah. And then you get a percentage of what you make each week, because that kind of insurance is set up so that you won't want to stay on it. That's what they teach us in insurance school. That's the reason you cannot get as much disability insurance as you get from working, so that you will want to go back to work rather. So check that elimination period when you're shopping for your disability insurance at your job. Ask your agent about that. And like I said, your premium's probably going to be pretty cheap. There's short term and there's long term. Short term would be like if you broke your leg. Long term would be like, you know, if you got Lou Gehrig's disease or something like that. So that's that. And I'm not going to tell you everything there is to know about insurance because it would bore me to death. Anyway, and I am a dual license insurance agent, and I was doing that before I started driving a truck. But I want to, well, let's just say I have a certain standard of living, and I was doing really well, but not well enough to live like I want to live and drive what I want to drive as far as my car goes. So as y'all can imagine, I have a convertible. Anybody who knows me knows. And it's not a Camaro either. It's a Buick, because it just don't do for a little old lady to drive around in a Corvette convertible. I mean, there's little old ladies who do. Nothing against that. But I do not like trying to act young. And not that you are. But if I got a Camaro convertible, I would feel like I was trying to act young. And I don't want to be young. I just want to drive around with my top down. And I don't mean that wrong. Anyway, that's it for your insurance lesson. And I hope you guys enjoyed it so much, because I just loved giving it to you. You know, sometimes the things that come out of my mouth, and then I think afterwards, people don't think like I do. You know, sometimes I really did come down on the last drop of rain. Anyway, bye everybody. I got to go do my nails now. Have a good day.